Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bargain Gaming for the episode 3 of Nobunaga's Ambition gameplay tutorial. When we ended last time was that we finished our development phase, and we can now check. Before going into the battle phase, there are a couple of points I'd like to make clear or point out. One is that when we deployed from Sado, we had like 1,500 soldiers, and now we're down to 1,370. And we also had provisions for 120 days, so it's now down to 90 days. So that means we need to take over this fortress in 90 days time. The opponent started with 500 soldiers, and so they're gone. So if we don't take this back, we don't conquer this in 90 days, our soldiers will starve. The other thing I need to remember is that we have 6,500 in provisions. So once we take down this fortress, we will need to garrison this fortress with this army. The reason is that the fortress will have used up all the soldiers it has, because we took it down, right? We killed all the enemy soldiers, and we need to garrison it with this army is because these two guys can pounce on us. So in total they have 1,500 troops, while right now we have only 1,370. So we don't have as much soldiers as those two guys. Those are two fresh guys. The other consideration we have to look at is that there is 1,000 soldiers or 1,500 soldiers here, and they can send a relief column all the way down here and break our attempts to take over this one. So without much further ado, let's continue with the fight and the development phase. Okay, look at that guy. He's coming up. Oh no, okay, he passed us. How about the other guy? Whoa, it got me nervous right there. Okay. The other thing now we can look at is that we are now besieging this fortress. So our 1,300 soldiers has blockaded this fortress, and the white line is the resistance of this fortress. Once it goes down to 0, we will have taken over the fortress. And so let's continue. I'm so happy they left us alone. Okay, we've taken over this castle, and then let's pause it. So the 1,000 troop came up here, and now these are two. Wow, that's 1,500. Wow, combined, they can actually clobber us. That's why at the end of the battle phase, I will not send our troop home. We can send them home, but I won't, because yeah, we need to protect this one. And apparently there are still 549 soldiers left here, and since we did not storm this castle, the hit points was not affected by the siege. So let's continue and finish this battle phase, so we can go back to the development phase. Okay, this is the following month. Now that we have two fortresses, our base income used to be 30, it's now 71. And our mines continue to give us a good amount of income, so that's pretty good. Okay, Hanma tribe and Sado tribe, they owe us a lot more allegiance right now. So there are no new two buttons now. So this one says we have one castle that doesn't have a lord. It's actually a fortress because we just took this one. So we can click this button, and now we need to send somebody to find out if there are any specific or special attributes around this fortress. Let's do that. So that's the fortress we need to check out. Let's send Ihun. She'll go out there and check it out. And then, remember we were appeasing the two tribes? We can continue to appease them. So right now they're at 83%. And we can continue to do that, appease them, and they will go to 100. And there's another tribe which is at 80%, and let's send our daimyo to do that. Now they'll go get 200. So we need that support because, like, this guy has 3,000 soldiers. So if they do attack us, either one of those tribes will send troops over to help us out. The other thing is that we need to send a lord to be the castle lord for this fortress. So, okay, and we can send over. So these choices with the circles in them are good choices. The circle, the swindler attribute or ability, allows all the samurais that are in the same castle or fortress as the castle lord, as let's say as if we appointed Chai Lao, if they're in the same fortress or castle with Chai Lao, their loyalty will go up minutely, incrementally every month. So over time it's really good. The charismatic improves the popularity of the population because after we took over the fortress, the popularity of course drops. And then the fortifier attribute is a really good one because a castle lord with that attribute slows down the deterioration of morale if one of our castles is being besieged. So if our castle lord of that besieged castle has this fortifier attribute, it will take the besiegers a lot longer to take over the castle. So in this case, we can send, let's send Jane as the castle lord. Now, I prefer to have each fortress to have at least 2 officers in it, and for castles at least 3. The reason is that when we deploy soldiers, that means there can be 2 to 3 generals, a maximum of 3 generals. So if there are 2 officers, then there are 2 potential generals that can go and join our army when we send them out to fight. And the reason for that is the more generals, the higher chances are that they would have complementary attributes that will make them a much more powerful force. So in this case, I will send, since I have currently an excess of officers relative to the number of fortresses or castles I have, in this case just 2 castles, I will send 2 over to this fortress. We can spare some, at this point in the game, spare some officers. So that's a destination, a new base, and this is the old base. Okay, we can send Taifeng and Jinghua. Let's send them over. So since this is our garrison force, in 30 days time all 3 officers will now be present in this castle. And that's a good thing because then with officers in the castle, we can now deploy them and bolster our garrison force. And also, so that means now we will have close to 2,000 soldiers, and hopefully one of the tribes will send help over, so we will now have over maybe 2,500 to 3,000 soldiers. So we have people that can stand up to all of these 3 armies over here. Let's go back. So we have done those. No, but I don't want to do that. So now we can develop Oh, so this is a new button. So this button allows us to fortify an area. Not a fortress, just fortify certain specific areas close to our fortress. I don't find that very helpful. The other one is that we can now build better roads in between our two castles or our two fortresses. Right now, since most of the roads or the travel time is in the ocean, and so there's not much point for this. Once we have more land, fortresses, and castles, this will come handy because it affects everything, especially population growth. So let's just improve our castles. So right now, since we don't have any officers here, we can't assign any overseer. And the improvement they have is really small. Now the other one, see, here in Sado, who can now improve our conscripts even more. That's the development phase for this turn. So I guess this would be a good time to cut the episode here. And if this episode has been helpful or if you like it, please let me know by clicking on the like, and please please register in my channel so it will be a much easier time for you to access all the episodes that I can put into it. Thank you, and hope to see you again in the next episode. Bye.